What's up everybody, Brian here, back down in the Gecko Lab. Thank you for joining me today, another edition of the weekly Hatchling Report. Alright everybody, this is going to be another grow out edition of the Hatchling Report. I've got some awesome up and coming geckos to show off to you today that I'm super excited about. But first I want to show you some new geckos that I recently got. I actually made a trade with a girl to get some new geckos in from a pairing that I've had my eyes on for a while, particularly the mom of two of these I really have liked for a long time, so I want to show them to you. I made a trade with a girl named Amanda Gavel. She runs, her breeding page is called Wicked Arboreals. You can check them out in the link in the description down below. Now she had a couple babies from a pairing in particular that I wanted, Dr. Evil and Envy. Envy in particular is a gecko that I've loved for a long time. It's such a cool gecko. I remember watching the progression photos as it grew up. This gecko is beautiful. And when she reached out and I had the opportunity to bring a couple of those kids in to add to my bloodlines, I jumped on it. I knew I had to have them, so I picked them up. Here they are. Check these out, you guys. Absolutely beautiful. As you can see, just a ton of creamy pattern, just like the parents. Absolutely gorgeous. I love Envy's white spot drippy dorsal trait that comes down, and it looks like these kids are starting to develop that as well. I'm super excited. I don't know if I am going to keep all three of these geckos or not. I'm not sure yet. As I do with all my geckos, I'm going to grow them up before I decide. I expect I will keep at least two of them, if not all three of them. It just depends on, you know, what sex they end up being and how my numbers for breeding groups fall. But I'm super excited to add these into some of my white spot groups and possibly breed these into some lily white projects. I'm not sure yet. I'm just stoked to have them. All right guys, quick interlude update here. As I was filming some b-roll shots of this girl to show her off to you, she actually dropped her tail, and I thought I would take this time to kind of show you guys how their tails act when they fall off. As you can see, they wiggle around a lot, and that is so when they drop their tail, they do that as a defense mechanism. She actually got really scared when I went to put her on the branch, threw her tail thinking I was a predator, and then the tail is made to wiggle around, so that will catch the predator's attention and the predator will eat the tail and not the gecko. The interesting thing is the tails will actually grab onto stuff. If you kind of set it on the log, you can see how the tail will actually wrap itself. Let me just use my finger because that'll be an easier example. Look at this. See how the tail will just on its own accord wrap itself around my finger? They do that so even if the predator touches the tail will grab onto the predator, and instinctually the predator will bite the tail, eat the tail, and the gecko gets away. As you can see, she's now sitting here breathing pretty heavy because she is definitely freaked out. So I'm going to go ahead and put her back in her cage. We're not going to be able to see that one all that well, but that's okay because she needs to rest. Okay, back to the video. Please go check out Wicked Arboreals. The link is in the description below. You can follow them on Facebook. Give them a like. They got some awesome geckos over there. Thank you again to Amanda for making this happen for me. I could not be more happy with these guys. Super excited now to stick them in a grow out tub, a couple grow out tubs, and pump them full of bugs and watch them grow for the next year or so I can decide what I'm gonna do with them. All right guys, I hope that you check out Amanda's page, and I hope you like those geckos and you're as excited as I am to see them grow up. But let's look at some other grow outs now. I've picked out some cool stuff to show off to you guys. Okay, so we are going to get right into it right off the bat with this little lily white. Now, as we look at this one here, you might be saying to yourself, well, that's not the most impressive lily white I've ever seen. And I agree, just as a lily white as presented, it's nice. It's a lily white. It's fairly good looking, but not particularly standoutish among the sea of lily whites that now exist. However, if I may submit to you this one's a Hatchling. Oh yeah, that's why I'm excited about this one. A Hatchling lily white. I've got a few of these growing up now. I've got a handful breeding, and I am always excited when I can expand that collection even more. This little one is obviously going to stay here and grow up. There's a good chance that it'll stay as a breeder next year, but you never know. Black Friday comes around, this one's starting to get close to adult size. I might be looking to let a few of these go, so keep your eyes out, you never know. But I thought we would start it out right with a lily white Hatchling today. So up next after that, we have this just incredible confetti super dowel. Check this thing out. This is among my best confettis. This is what my newest generation of confetti offspring is aspiring to. This is where I have dreamed about this project being since I started it back in 2009. I have been working forever to refine and improve the red spot gene with my confetti project, and we are finally getting to the place where I'm like, yes, this is what I pictured more than a decade ago when I started breeding these. Just look at this gecko. Incredible big black spots. We're getting to the point now where these are almost getting to be red ink spots. We're gonna have the ink spot confetti line here if I'm not too careful. Fingers crossed we can make that happen. But just check out the size and number of these red spots. They're bright red, they're vibrant, they pop, they're big. This is just pure beauty to me. This is one of my most, like, the projects that's most dear to my heart, that I've worked the hardest on for the longest. It's been a long time coming, and I'm so excited to see the way this project is paying off. It is so exciting to me. I hope you guys enjoy it. That is my newest generation of confettis. So after that one, we're gonna look at a couple geckos. I've got 4 more geckos to show you in 2 different pairs, and we're gonna go with the theme of opposites here. So this first one is on one end of the opposite spectrum, and that's a fairly light gray Axanthic. As you can see on this guy, it's one of those Axanthics that almost looks purple because it's so light they kind of get translucent. Really interesting color. These tend not to be as popular as the really dark ones, but I think that these are going to start to find some love, especially as they get lighter and lighter. And when you get into those really almost white Axanthics, those are even more popular than the black ones. So these are definitely valuable animals that have a good breeding project in front of them. I'm super excited to keep working with these and see how much lighter we can get them. But I wanted to show you this one on one end of the spectrum because the next gecko is the other end of the spectrum, the black Axanthic. You can see here how much darker this one is. Same gene, just a different shade of gray on this one, and this one is super dark, absolutely gorgeous. I love that it's almost speckled, like it looks like a galaxy or something. I don't know, I just love it. I think they're really, really cool. Of course, on the Axanthics, I love the eyes. These dark ones are super popular, so I thought we would look at those two to kind of compare and contrast the 2 opposites there. Now the next 2 animals I have that we're going to look at some opposites on. The first is a super light colored, super high patterned extreme Harlequin. So you can see on this one, my picture is terrible. I totally missed focus on his eye. I always try and nail the focus on the eye of the gecko, and this one the focus is totally on his body and his eyes are out of focus. That bugs me as a photography enthusiast. That just bugs the crap out of me, but that's okay because we are focusing on the pattern on this one, how light the pattern is. Real light yellow, almost white pattern. I really like this look. This line that I have has this look where instead of like a big blotchy pattern like some extremes get, it's almost like little dots, like he's covered with so many little splatters of paint that it almost completely covers him. But the color here is what I'm focusing on. Really light color patterned, super high patterned extreme Harleys. And then the next one to contrast is a bright orange extreme Harley. I personally actually like these better. Most people tend to like the light colored super high patterned extreme Harleys better. I like the high patterned bright orange extreme Harlequins. That's just my personal opinion. Your results may vary on that, but I just love this bright orange neon pattern, especially when it's got those white tipped crests along the top that really make it pop. I think it's so cool looking, and it just looks to me like they're on fire, like he has flames coming up his sides and on his legs. Super cool looking. So I thought that would be interesting as well to look at that, kind of compare and contrast 2 different styles of extreme Harlequin, because we don't always talk about stuff like that. Everybody knows what an extreme Harlequin is, but we don't often break down the little details that can make these geckos so unique and so individualistic, and that's the kind of stuff that really gets me going. I love it. I love talking about it. As you guys know, I can talk geckos all day long. Unfortunately, that's all I've got to show you guys today. So thank you once again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you again to Wicked Arboreals for my new geckos. I am super excited to watch these guys grow up. As always, guys, I am Brian with Altitude Exotics. altitudeexotics.com. We've got new geckos every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We've got new videos here several times a week, so don't forget to subscribe. Check out our website. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at AEGeckos. And as always, be safe, be kind to each other. I will see you guys soon.